We're pretty.
Hands are set.
Oh, I need the hand to start off. We're gonna open the meeting.
Everyone signed in?
The bunch just came in.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the minute. Second.
All in
The
favor?
minutes, all in favor.
Yeah, both of them, yeah. Okay.
Approve the paper, I guess we don't have to.
Yeah, we already did the payroll.
So those are the minutes 24 and 25.
Yeah.
This go down.
Yeah.
You just,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Was it unanimous? I wasn't.
Yeah.
I think sign it.
No.
Discussion on 33 Pig Street. Carrie. Talk to us.
Okay, so first, let me thank you guys for coming in at 7 o'clock in the morning, including Michael Maine. You know, wasn't sure he was gonna make it in time. And secondly, I kind of want to go over a little bit of a timeline with you guys, because I want you to understand there's no ill intent on calling this meeting. I came in on Monday, obviously concerned about the bid that had been placed in the previous selectmen's meeting, in regards to 33 Pig Street, but it didn't address anything on DJ's property, trash, legal septic, anything like that. On Tuesday, some new information came to light from Red Pine Holdings attorneys, and there was actually a representative here from them. If you would allow her to speak, she can give you the rest of the timeline.
Okay, I'm gonna start with a major question.
Okay.
Dana has told us he does not own that property. So what do we do at this point?
Again, there is a representative from Red Pine Holdings that is willing to go over things with you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Sandy Morris. I'm the representative. Okay, so what it
Tell us who owns the property, I guess is the first.
33 Pig Street?
Yeah.
Okay, 33 Pig
Well,
Street.
No, the property adjacent to it.
One day.
We have future interest in it. DJ is still the owner, but we have future interest. We are currently under negotiations.
Okay.
But I know that this meeting was called specifically for 33 Pig Street because I really would like to address that.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So after this meeting was called, we saw legal counsel because this could potentially impact our future interests with the Brownfield and DJ's property. And so we sought legal counsel to see who actually owns it and how exactly we can go about making sure that it's cleaned up and it does not go back into the disarray and potential hazardous state that it's in now. So after seeking legal counsel, we found out that the heirs of permit actually still own it. We immediately sought out stake in
Can
ownership.
you wait 1 second?
Absolutely.
Because part of this key thing isn't here. Oh, you're right there. Okay, Wanda, that's what I. I know, huh? Okay, so I guess at that point, do we own the property, do we not own the property?
I think where it says we do.
Okay.
So after your lawyer is gonna have to call Pat. I believe Pat Panciaco's office already sent over a letter. And so I do apologize, but the scope of work won't be needed. We have already taken immediate action to make sure that it is made safe. And we are going to be responsible for making sure that it's cleaned up, like all the trash is cleaned up. And we welcome any input and would love to meet with the code enforcement officers.
So I did notice that Dana was on the property yesterday. So I
Yeah.
guess that would be the first question, because I don't know if the select board gave him permission to be on 33 Pig Street with his tractor yesterday, but he was there. I'm not sure what he was doing. I just happened to be passing by and I saw he was up there. I also noticed that I'm hoping he uncovered the septic. If that was a possibility,
No.
if he had found it, because that was really the big question about Dana's property. This started about 3.5 years ago, something like that. And it all came down to the house that was in disrepair, but there was people living there. And then as it was transitioning, there was a Warren family in there, and it was getting worse. Dana did a survey with, I believe it was John Bliss. No, somebody did a survey there, and it set everything off, and you could clearly see that the Warrens had impacted Dana's property, 100%. I've got documentation of that. That's all been. So the big question was the septic tank. So at one point, Michael Warren, Jr., because the father had passed away. And I had asked him about the septic system because that was the big in question. And there's a little dent right off the back of his property that was on Dana's property. And he says, yeah, that's a 330-gallon oil tank there. And that's what the septic tank is. And I said, okay, well, without really seeing it or uncovering it. So that's why I was kind of hoping you did find it yesterday, but because we haven't been over there, we haven't poked around. So that was really the big question, if it was actually physically on Dana's property or not, because we have no evidence because we haven't dug it up, or he did and then we found it. But that was my major concern, was the malfunctioning or the illegal septic system. So I proceeded and I had John Bliss do an HHE 200 form on the property of 33 Pig Street, only because it's the town's responsibility to a certain degree. If you have a malfunctioning septic system, that has to be taken care of. You can't just let it be and go away with it. So he did do it, and Dana and I had walked over the property several times. Just to back up a little bit, we've issued several notices about the property being just a mess. And what they had done is they done a cleanup, and it's probably documented in time. What they did is they just pushed it behind the house more in Dana's land. So they didn't really clean much of anything, and they just kind of hit it from quote unquote Pig Street, so you couldn't see it when you went by. So to bring that back up to speed, Dana and myself have been over to try and figure out where the septic system might be, and there was a little dent in the ground, and we assumed that was it. So that was really the major malfunction for me, was the septic system. Everybody has a right to have a yard, you know what I mean? And they have a right to keep the yard the way they want to a degree. I'm not trying to micromanage people's property and stuff like that. This particular one was beyond just a normal, I say messy yard, you know, I mean, when there was rotten food and animals being attracted to the property, that was where it really started coming into some serious concern. Trash bags were just being thrown out on the lawn. They weren't being taken to the transfer station or anything like that. So that's when we really started paying attention to what was going on over there. So that's really all I have for an input. And my main concern is that septic system, if it is actually on Dana's property or not, I'd like to know. And that's my big question.
And I think everybody here wants the same outcome.
Yeah.
Of this not to happen again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we had talked to Dana a couple times about swapping the property because our field is on his property too. We've talked a couple times with that, and that hasn't come about. And I think there's gotta be a way to work this around, that it's beneficial for everybody.
At this point, I think we gotta find out what our responsibility is in it legally.
And what the actual ownership is first, and go from there, and then we can do whatever we have to. Yes, sir.
This West of Jessica Warren is is my significant other, and she is an heir.
Yeah.
To this, so she has legal right and possible ownership. So I'm very concerned that there's a lot of decisions being made related to this property when it would appear as though she or the heirs of Herman Warren would be the owners. There's a lot of people going on the property and doing that stuff. So I'm concerned with what the legal ramifications for everybody is and why things are happening over there. And I understand that there's problems, so I'm just concerned why people are over there digging around and doing things, discovering things, claiming ownership, doing surveys without her being noticed or anything like that. And I understand there's a title issue with the deed and you can't notice 300 people. So we're just trying to figure out, we've been naive to the entire situation because we've kind of just been like an ostrich burying our head in the situation. and allowing it to continue because it was being operated and occupied by relatives, and we didn't really want to get into the situation, but at this point, it appears
Like
we'd like to just understand the information.
So personally, I say personally, but from my perspective of my position in the town is to ensure safety of buildings, the welfare, and, you know, and so that's how it all started. It wasn't like we just started going on, you know, walking along the property or anything. It was my understanding at one point there was children in the building. Whether there was or what, I never witnessed that. I had tried to contact Tony, I believe, was living there at the time, and then his fiance, his wife, and whatnot. They wouldn't respond, so I mean, I could show you all the documentation of the letters that we sent of trying to actually have a conversation, see what was going on, how could the town help, kind of thing. Notice of all the violations that they were under. But it got to a certain point that once they left the property, it was very obvious that I had to condemn the building. If you look at it, from a structural standpoint, and then the other standpoint of the legal septic and stuff like that. I mean, all of these things were lined up in order, so that's when it went to the lawyer to start the condemning process. And then we switched lawyers, so that we lost a little bit of time there. So then when the new lawyer took it, that was our main objective, was to keep the house safe from anyone re-entering it. I didn't feel that it was safe for anyone to be living there anymore. And then, you know, again, with the septic and the point in the front of the well, we don't even know if the drinking water was applicably safe to provide, you know, anybody to be there at all. So it was really all that started with a safety standpoint of the individuals that were there and the surrounding neighbors. Because if that septic is, we'll just say, within 100 feet of the neighbor's septic, they could be polluting the well next to it. You know, there is abutting neighbors to the right, not so much to the left if you were facing the building. And then DJ's property is all in the back, and he's had plans from day one to do something there. So that was all part of it. It wasn't like we just went in and started, attacking the property, you know, for unknown reasons. We had plenty of reasons. I say we, but as to why I adjusted the first notice of violation and such.
I understand.
And then Red Pine Holdings only went in to make safe, after we already have a vested interest, because we contacted another heir and purchased their portion of it.
Who is that?
What was her name?
Jane.
Jane.
Jane Warren.
Yeah,
So the building itself structurally is condemned, not, so you're saying that it's structurally unsound?
That is, it's my understanding. I haven't been able to see the inside, but from a legal standpoint, what we're allowed to do is we're allowed to go as far as the doorstep. We haven't entered the building, because we haven't had permission to. But I am allowed to document the exterior of the building and what I can see.
So it has to be torn down, in your opinion?
That is my
Assessment
recommendation.
at this time.
Yep, to the board, that will be my
In
recommendation.
this, you don't believe that the current septic system was.
I don't believe it is, yeah. I mean, if there's any, I don't say true, but if what Mike said when he came in, that it's an oil tank, I mean, that's not a legal septic system, so.
Well, what is?
And there's no permitting for it either.
Was there ever a permit filed?
There's no permit.
filed for?
Yeah, no permit for the building, no permit for the septic, that's another violation. That you hear, stories, I haven't been in town, so I've only been here about 4
Yeah,
years.
used to be my father's old store.
I heard it came on a trailer, came down the road, and got put on property, so I don't know if there's that much truth in that, but I don't know. So that was no building permits or anything, it was just kind of septic.
Well, when did the town start issuing building permits?
What year? That I don't know, 89?
So the building was there prior to 1977, because Herman lived there and he died in 77.
It would still have been a building process, you know what I mean, I would assume, do you know when it got moved in?
It was in the early 70s.
It was in the 70s, so
Yes,
we'd
because
have to
Dad
look
built a
back
big
to our
store.
records. And see if they were issuing.
He
building
built the big
permits.
store in the early 70s. So it had to be, 'cause after the big store was built,
Right,
they moved it off the house. He used to be able to walk from the house right into the store.
into the store, yeah,
And
so
they
that just
moved
got
it.
taken off.
The kitchen used to be the loading dock.
Sure.
Wanda, do you file foreclosure papers on this?
It's an automatic foreclosure once the 18 month period is processed. Um. However, having said that. I was doing a little research on my own there yesterday, and I came across. The fact that the 2018 lien shows up at the registry. However, the 2019 does not. I have a copy of 2019. Right here in the file, as well as the 18, but it is not does not show on the website.
Okay.
We need to bring all of this to our attorney, all the information, to find
As-
out where we are.
As far as the heirs go, as you know, I've been working or trying to work with the Warrens over the years to keep for them to keep their property. Well, it comes to a point when you gotta get left on it. However, having said that, Kayla came forward. And she was willing to pay all the taxes and keep the property in family's names. Mainly because she wanted something of her parents. We had a tentative agreement with her to sell it back if she paid the taxes up.
Right.
I have not heard from her. I called her Tuesday. To invite her here today. She did not respond.
Yeah, I really think at this point she's out of the picture.
Well, we kind of went off half-cocked, there's all this information we didn't have when we made that agreement. There's things, a lot of things changed.
But she still doesn't pay the taxes.
Oh, no, exactly, but.
That's null and void.
But it all goes back to, we gotta do this thing right, and what's responsible at the least expense to the town. So we've gotta start with our attorney, give them all the information, who actually owns it, let them work with these other attorneys to find out exactly where Brownfield stands in this.
Yeah.
And then move forward accordingly.
I just have a question related to the taxes. When did the town officially claim
April 22.
April of 22? So you're saying the town is claiming ownership as of that date due to a lien due to back taxes? How long do they have to pay those taxes before
Well, the lien
it
is
becomes
filed.
official?
They have 18 months from the day agreement was filed.
From April 22?
No, that was filed, hang on, please.
First one's 18.
The lien was filed October 20th, 2020.
So you're saying the town officially,
That's my.
even though there was nothing recorded at the registry that says that they own it. It just is an ipso facto situation
There's
where
nothing. that
you
says
just
they
say
have
that
to
they're
do-
going to pay this, and if they don't
There's
pay
no
it,
document that
I
I have to
understand.
file.
I work at Horizons Engineering and I surveyed for 20 years, so.
So what, I'm just saying, once the lien is filed, then that process.
Yeah, it just starts already.
Dana, you get anything? I never seen you quiet like this. So I guess what we can do is find out through our lawyer who actually owns it, even though you purchased. I mean,
Absolutely.
her portion, the taxes are still owed.
Yeah.
So you bought a tax bill. It what could have happened, you know? But we'll have to see what the actual ownership is and then what we can do from there. I think.
I will let you know that, other than trying to work with Tony and Mike,
Kayla.
and Kayla. Kayla is the only one that, of the heirs that I have conversed with.
But when all of us, when we were talking with that, we absolutely wanted to give it back if we could. However, there's all this other information that's come in with septics and all this other stuff that's gotta be dealt with, which changes the price considerably. So we've gotta find out who actually owns it, what our responsibility as a town is in it, or whoever's responsible, and then go from there is my opinion.
Yeah. And Dana proved it, I mean, the septic run on his property, that, you know, that just can't happen.
So is there a survey that shows this running on a?
Yes.
Public.
Just
There's a
Do we have?
the survey, do we have the survey? No, we don't have survey, Dana has a survey.
Because he did it at this time.
No, I understand. So has it been recorded?
Yeah, but there is a copy, I believe this copy here.
Yeah, I mean,
you would have to request it from the plan.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's recorded at the registry of deeds.
I would think you, the survey, no,
So it's not, it's, the legal survey has not been recorded.
It was just done.
Right, okay,
But we,
no problem.
if you wanna see a copy, it doesn't have.
Yeah, I just, there's never been, as far as I know, a survey of the warrant. But as far as I can tell, this, just like there's also never been building permit filed, never been a septic design recorded and filed. So I'm there's lacking paperwork here, and obviously the deed for it is also in question too, so there's a lot of documents that are missing, so I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, and like I said, didn't find out about any of this, really, this magnitude of the situation until yesterday.
Right.
yes,
Could you tell me again who,
Jessica's Pat's daughter. Pat
thank you,
lived there since Herman,
thank you.
and he passed away in 2001.
And her name is Jessica Warren?
Jessica Warren.
Thank you.
So just to remind the select board that we have already, worked with John Bliss and acquired an HHE 200 form. So just, I guess it would be my suggestion that no matter what we do with the property, that costs the town money. And even if the warrants were still to stay there, the way that it usually works is they slowly pay it back. If we had to go in and put a whole new sign, this isn't a freebie, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to make that suggestion that you guys are aware of. I think it was a $600 fee for the form. That however it turns out, you know, however it ends up, that the town gets reimbursed for that.
we did that in Mountain View a few years ago too. Okay, Bob, you have something for us?
Sure. So down with Big Street area. I'm up here because I'm gonna need the map just for a second. So, I'm here because I update you periodically on how we're doing on the whole revaluation, 2-year revaluation process. Thought it'd be good maybe in person to have a little bit of stuff. So, where we at this point is our first job was to go out and take the property records that we are, copies of property records we have in the system and go out and visit every property in town. We've pretty much done that with every parcel in town, except for the area covered by my hand. It's pretty inexact, but you get the idea. We're like mostly done, okay? And most of that information is now in the system. Still got a little ways to go and pushing hard before the snow gets too deep to try to make sure that piece is done. So that's what we're working on. We're trying to wrap that piece up. The next 2 steps after that are that we will drive it around again, but then that time just looking only at properties that have sold the last couple of years, because you want to just sort of calibrate your brain to what's been going on in the real estate market before you start going into the computer system and trying to adjust the way it prices out properties. And the other big piece we got to do is, this was all about buildings when we went around doing this. We will go back and do it again, but it'll be strictly looking at land. Okay. Verifying our records, make sure that, well, first of all, is the lot a buildable lot or not? You know, it's kind of important to know. Because if it's not, its value is much less than what it would have been otherwise. And other things, just making sure, you know, just looking at what we see on the map and in person relative to what we see in paper. So once we do that, then in the deeper bowels of winter, we'll be in here working on the system to try to revise it. And come up with values that will be applied to everybody in town. And then once that is done, what we'll do is we'll send out a notice to everybody in town saying, this is what we think the revised valuation ought to be. So at that point, people have an opportunity to come in, send us an email or talk to us or whatever. I'm kind of wrapping up the same process on the town of Long Island right now. And the real estate market is still a little bit on the crazy side, I have to tell you. You would have thought that the interest rates that are out there now would prevent people from buying, but there's a whole lot of sales going on. It's just for cash. People aren't even borrowing money to do it. I mean, I wish I had that kind of dough. Yeah, I work in government. But that's what sets the market. And just for everybody's general understanding, the town meeting votes to spend a certain amount of money every year. And let's just say, for easy understanding, let's say it's $2 million. So what happens is you take that, whatever is voted by the town meeting, and divide that by the total value of all the property in town, and that gives you your tax rate. Okay, so if the total value of all the property in town goes up 50%, your divisor now, the thing that's dividing the budget, is bigger. So you're dividing by a bigger number, which means your tax rate is going to go down. Okay, so what happens is when you do that, people that get a larger valuation, let's say your property was valued at $100,000, now it's valued at $150,000. Wow, at 50% higher. Yeah, but the tax rate will have dropped too. Okay, so in some cases, people will see an increase in their taxes, and some will experience a decrease in taxes. The reason for that is when we go out and do all this field work, we find, you built that 2-story garage and you didn't take out a permit, and it's not in our records. Well, you're going to experience an increase, right? Or, we've been taxing you for a barn that you don't have anymore, so we remove that. So your valuation may go down on a relative basis for what you had before. So the main thrust of this, the reason the town meeting voted for this, is because there was sort of a general sense in town that the records aren't up to speed, and there's a lot of stuff that's missing, and we're finding that was right. The general intuition of the town meeting was correct. Not too many dramatic things, but just enough that it was worth doing, because hadn't been done in a long time. And at a minimum, the state statute said you should do it at least once every 10 years. And so
we were 20.
Yeah, a little overdue. It's like really needing a haircut and say, I'm going to get it next week, and it just never happened. Next thing you know, you got a ponytail. So yeah, at any rate, that's the main reason that I was here. And just I get another thing too, but do you have any questions on that? All right, so work in progress, and hopefully it'll go with next year's commitment. 2 other things. Next one is we got a letter from the state saying you got to assess personal property taxes. Every assessor in the state got one, because a lot of small towns don't. And we started moving towards not doing that, because it just seems like an extra burden on small businesses, and the amount of work that it takes to do it, to collect a $38 bill here and a $42 bill there and so on. It just was ridiculous. And if people don't pay it, well, then you got to file a lien. Well, it costs you more money to file the lien than the amount of money that's owed on the bill itself. And so you just keep chasing it for a year and a half, this whole lien process that she was talking about. So several of the small towns, I work in 6 different towns, and several of them, they don't even do this. We do it down in Cornish, but that's because they got some, pretty good sized businesses down there, for example. But I think the word has gotten back to the state that there's a lot of towns that don't bother with this, and they sent us a letter saying, you got to get on the wagon, you got to do it, it's the law. So we are going to be doing it going forward and beginning next year. And, we're not gonna strain ourselves. We're gonna, try to look like we're doing something. And not try to be too much of a burden on the small business, because there really is no hardly anybody here who's, got anything of substance, not like, I used to work for the town of Freeport, there, L.L. Bean had personal property there, and it was valued at $67 million. So, there's nothing like that here.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. Like I said, every assessor in the state heard about it. There's an assessors meeting on Wednesday. We have these quarterly meetings, and half of it was taken up with grousing about this. So, I just want to, the third thing I want to talk about was something Wanda said about the maturing of liens, and assessors aren't collectors, so it's not really our job. But as assessors, we get notice of this kind of stuff, and it's kind of like, I believe, a flaw in the law, in that you file a lien, and it's basically a time bomb. It says you got 18 months to pay this. And if you don't, it becomes the town property. But there's no notice that 18 months is expired. It just happens.
Yeah.
And the town owns it. And you would think there'd be some kind of event, because in any other case in life, there should be some documentation in the registry. Yeah, there is, but it's 18 months old.
Yeah. I do want to say that there is within that 18-month period, 30 to 45 days prior to the actual hammer coming down, they are sent certified mail. A notice saying this is an automatic impending foreclosure.
Right. Yeah, it's a period that's a right redemption, and they do get notice. That's the general. I got notice from the Maine Revenue Services, which regulates what I do, and I just read it cursorily because it's not something that really matters to me, but in this meeting now it does. Basically, they said that due to a recent Supreme Court decision, the town's legal right at this point is to sell a property, and when the sale has happened, that the lien is satisfied with the proceeds, and whatever is left over has to go back to whoever had owned the property before. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that that's.
So it's commercial, you hear about tax theft and all that, properties being seized and
So, anyway, that's all I got.
No,
It should be.
Somebody probably just used the back.
yeah.
You did, we did use that.
All right, well, that's all I got.
The personal property tax on businesses.
Yeah.
Is state law.
Yeah,
We can't get around it.
no,
That's insulting to the business owners. They gotta pay a commercial tax, they gotta pay sales tax on the stuff when they buy it, then they gotta pay personal property tax. Every year.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. All right.
Dana, that piece of property, is a half an acre,
it's half an acre.
tenth of an acre.
Yes.
Wow.
we're gonna wind up screwed no matter how you look at it. We own it. Best thing we can do is on those.
I think it's interesting.
I literally. But still.
Anything else?
Yeah, I guess,
Okay.
go ahead, let them finish first.
Sorry. Yeah, nothing. Good.
This was.
That's just one of the.
Oh, okay, I just want to make a public announcement that the cul-de-sac on Blueberry Lane, the town does own.
There hasn't been any more problems, so. I haven't heard any reports from any, so
That's good.
Yeah,
have you heard anything?
No,
no, it's good that way.
we like it.
You've got
Geez.
correspondence.
On the FOIAs, you're gonna charge for those.
I do charge for them, yeah. This one was 40 some dollars.
It's like, why are you looking at the phone?
I'm sorry? Well, he was over there. I don't have time to sit and just watch a camera, that's your job. I love it that we can have a good time at work. This one here, most of it is emails, and I'm going to have to check with the attorney on, because it's getting a little bit ridiculous, all the email lawyers I'm getting. And I think they think that I should answer them via email and get all this information for nothing.
Trying to strip the system.
Other people come in and pay for theirs, so I've just gotta find out what legal right is.
Policy on.
You may need to address your policy if it's within state law. Gotta check with the attorney on everything, because we have everyone looking over our shoulder, and I think some through our windows. I do know my bedroom windows are. Seriously, though, it is important for the town to run smoothly and legally, and they're trying their best to do it, and I think they're getting beat up on social media specifically.
Yep.
Because you can see who showed up today.
Go ahead.
All right. I guess Buddy and Dicky met with Pete Coughlin of the Maine DOT to discuss our local road in. No, I wasn't there. And we had a GA audit. The review shows that we are in compliance with the general assistance status and the Department of Human Health and Services General Assistance Policy. And an email from, I assume it's this GA hotline, informs us that they will be distributing $8.5 million to the municipalities for general assistance and related costs to help Maine cities, towns, tribal communities to offset a historic increase in demand related to the COVID pandemic. I thought that's stuff had all gone through.
Yeah.
They can bring it back.
So anyways, they got some money to spend. And then
Thank you.
we got an email from Dana on the guy that takes care of the cemeteries,
Yep.
and he is looking at that one on Potato Hole Road.
Yep.
Says he should give us a quote a few days.
While here on cemeteries,
Yeah,
did we pay the bill for the cemetery? No, the one the other day, said they hadn't got
Just Davis Historical Society.
the 1,500 for one of the cemeteries.
That's Burnt Meadow.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything about that.
somebody said they hadn't paid yet.
The
Yeah,
historical
not on
society-
Burnt Meadow. I just know the price figure, what they,
Yeah.
cause it was always lower than ours.
They are working on paying all of the in-town and other town services, you know, the taxes are coming in. I do know that. I've talked with Lynn.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly who you're talking about, so.
Yeah.
I assume it was just Davis, because she's the one that rattled the chain on this
Well-
point work, and
Cindy and David Charles are the trustees for Burnt Meadow.
I haven't heard from them, so
Cindy and David Charles.
Yes, I don't know who it was, somebody said to me that they hadn't got their money yet. Okay, I will ask. I'm at,
yeah, I gave you the answer. They're working.
okay,
all right, we have an email from MMA, flags to remain at half staff through sunset on 11/17/23. And the planning board agenda for November 14th has been posted to the web, as well as information regarding memorial care facilities. What's up?
As well as.
more okay.
Yeah, it's we have a web page of resources And that's for memory care people. So I get links every now and then to be posted to our website just to keep people informed of what's available.
All right, the town of Freiburg wants the town to pay for the children that attend their rec summer camp.
If the town voted for it not to do it in Brownfield, why in hell would they pay Freiburg to do it?
All right.
That
If
don't
you,
make any
if you
sense.
choose to send your kid to Freiburg, you should be the one paying,
Yeah,
not the town.
yeah.
That's my opinion.
That was quite a bit of money too. They were talking in that level.
Well, I remember specifically at town meeting, there was quite a discussion. They voted no. That they didn't want to pay for summer camp, let the Friends of Rec pay for summer camp. So now this comes from Freiburg, who told them that we're gonna, why would we? If they voted not to pay Brownfield, why would we
Yeah.
pay Freiburg?
Just can't blame them for asking.
Yeah.
That's all I can say
I
about that.
guess so.
All right. Then she got an email between her and Joe Egan about the $422,358.50 being included in the municipal appropriation. I'm sure he's not happy about that. And municipal officers' manuals have been ordered, which is a good thing. I think.
I have them available in the office for you gentlemen to take with you if you would like to take.
And then,
They're gonna reveal if we've been acting
It's
appropriately.
gonna tell you every
Yeah.
step to take, to some extent.
see how wrong we really.
So then the lawyers won't be running the town, we will.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck with that.
No, we still gotta have a lawyer.
Exactly.
Okay, and then last but not least, Vinnie Carbone wants the Board of Selectmen to allow him to use the community center for coffee, breakfast, get-togethers for the community and a K-12 program. He would like the opportunity to discuss with the board, his attorney and the town's attorney, what has gone on with the prior Board of Selectmen.
I don't know if that's a concern to us, you know.
We can check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to. Can't make any.
Okay.
As far as the rec center, I would think that hopefully could work cordially with Willie and see.
He was asking for you guys to say it's okay for him to go
Yeah.
with. He came to you first,
Mm-hmm.
and then for him, he'll go to Willie, see if it works out, if it's scheduled right, so that he can get in there.
It's good to know that somebody in town thinks that we have some authority.
Yeah.
Waters.
Yeah.
But I'd like to talk to you about the civics program, the K-12 civics program through the Maine Municipal Association. I spoke with the individual that's leading and advocating for it. He's willing to talk with you guys. It takes an elected official to get a hold of him for him to allot us these resources that are available for the K-12 civics classes and programs and resources that they have available. It's a program that our taxpayer dollars paid for already. And yeah, I don't think there's even any towns reaching out for these resources where we could educate our youth on the policies and procedures of our democracy and how they could communicate themselves on how to better their community, our youth. So our youth can have a voice and be heard, which I think has been a big issue in the beginning of time, you know.
Yeah.
No offense to older people, but you know, from the mouth of babes. But they're there.
We can look into that, that's definitely. Right?
Now sit down and I'll talk with Albino more about it. I'll get a hold of the guy and let him know I spoke with you guys and we're moving forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys. He'll be able to present the presentation.
Well, I said last but not least, but there is one more thing.
Stop it.
Huh?
Stop it.
Interview schedule per Cliff for 11/6/23, starting at 6 p.m. for Public Works full and part-time help. Okay. That's it. All right.
Cindy, did you read this letter from Terry Lockhead? Would you read this?
I want to read the copy.
Yeah, all right,
Look great, I didn't,
never mind.
Sure.
Give me a trouble.
Yeah. Don't give me more than 2 pages.
You complaining about me.
No,
Well,
no, no problem. She's saying, what a nice job you do organizing this.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep this one, you can have the rest.
Did everything get signed?
I believe so.
I got it.
So I wasn't on the agenda, but any chance we can talk about a week off hunting in November?
No, not allowed.
See y'all later.
Well, listen, I'm not happy about being here this morning either, so.
If I'm getting up early, I might as well just keep it going. I don't want to stop now, I get too much momentum.
It should be a national holiday, shouldn't it?
At least a week.
Is it real busy?
I call it grocery shopping.
Is it real busy right now? Is it real busy right now? You?
Oh, you want me to?
No, are you real busy right now? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, I love these, thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Keep you going.
I was hoping it was my papers. Hunting papers. If it's okay with you guys, I've got at 8 o'clock, I've got to go, do an inspection on 202 Farnsworth. And then,
Oh, Maya?
is that Matt's 202?
No, Maya.
No, it's the one before it. the one that-
Maya Farnsworth, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 202 Farnsworth.
Yeah, Maya.
Justin, Gibbons built the new house up there.
Yeah, Maya Farnsworth. isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe it is, yeah, yep, so there's a new house up there, they're looking for CO, and then, Rick Emery wanted to come in and talk this morning
Oh,
about
yeah, I
it.
missed it.
Charts, so some business, and we had some questions and, about the, ordinance and how that was and how it was written. How we're all interpreting it and stuff, so I said I'd be back after my inspection.
Yeah. Good.
Thanks, guys.
You're all set with that?
yeah, I mean, I thought I got back to her, but maybe. But I left her a message on an answer machine, but maybe she didn't get it, cause cell phones on, no, so I will reach out to her again, because all I do is the quarantine with the
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
And we explain the dog at large. And I understand dogs slip off, they call it, accidents happen.
Yeah.
It's what they call accidents.
Right.
And anything, medical, she would have to pursue it because it wasn't, it was a first offense.
Right.
And I usually don't write a ticket for first offense, it's second on, And this was happening. August or September, we looked it up, it happened.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, that's why I
Yeah,
was surprised that she sent it after all this time.
it was in September, it was, sometime in September. I don't have my notes right in front of me, cause I didn't know I was gonna, but it was in
No.
September, so, but I will reach out to her again and make sure that she understands I did follow through the state. You quarantined the dog for 10 days, it was up to date with rabies.
Yeah.
The only time I'm really concerned if they're not up to date with rabies, we need to euthanize the dog. Because it bit somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I would ask the men to go get the shots, $1,000 a piece. and the dogs were euthanized,
And then check.
checked within 24 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you get 3 shots, and that's, oh, about 4 years ago when I got mine, it was $1,000 fees.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine what they're at today?
Yeah. Well, thank you, for what we. Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I do. I kind of hesitate about saying anything, but. On them outlying cemeteries.
Yeah.
Why did it get switched? Cause the public works used to take care of it.
Mhm.
I was, and now I understand that it's hard to get help and all that, but. They only have to go out and do them like once a year to keep the brush from growing up and another thing I probably should consider is that. Jess Davis has cleaned a lot of them up, maybe she wants them kept a little better, so I just got a question of. I've never seen the contract, I don't know how often they mow them or take care of them.
Twice a year, I believe.
Twice a year.
Bring it home.
It's quite reasonable, and I would agree with you. But not until our trees start getting cut back along the roads and stuff. Priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a mess this winter. We get a wet, heavy snow, safety issues trying to pull out, there's all kinds of. Right up Perry Mountain Road, between the pole, now the grass is up. And you can't see, you pulling out, and it's all over town.
How do you think I feel about that?
I
I spent
know,
10 years clearing.
I know. But it's,
That's a personal issue, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm.
but we gotta keep that out of it, but try to get back to a solution to help. Cliff to get this done, whether we gotta buy equipment, what are we gonna do with that done every year?
You look like my tongue right now.
Yeah.
No, don't,
I mean,
this isn't to get mad, it's not.
Well, I'm telling you, you can get. Well, they don't use it, it's not.
Yeah.
And there again,
I mean-
so then it backs up to why, is a time factor, what's going on, what is occupying his time, I'm not trying to throw someone under the bus. But priorities, is he chasing complaints, obviously there's not enough time, so something's going on. So the solution comes into. What do we do to get it done?
There are companies that rent bushwhackers on tractor,
Right,
you know, that they go out and they,
Yeah.
one guy, you take one guy and he goes out there and does it, I mean, and the other guy can go do something else.
right,
Not one guy who does something and 2 guys.
but it needs to be done, and especially the first, heavy snowstorm.
Yeah.
It's hitting your vehicles, you can't go, it's, besides the safety factor.
Yeah.
But my concern is, I guess I should have spoke sooner, but I thought it was being addressed, it's just. Other stuff is taking priority, so. With the mowing, I think it's like 6,000 for the year. For all of them, it's not much money, while it's a lot of money. If we've got the time to do it, great, we're already
No,
paying.
no, I'm not,
But this is just where I'm come from,
I shouldn't say anything, because me being in that position for the many years as I was. The Marines out there work every day.
exactly,
That's where the problem was.
Yeah.
yeah.
They got to be out there working every day, not just once in a while.
And we've come from, and I've seen some slack in that since I've been here. But I like to think that we're moving forward with that, aren't we? You've seen more than I have, but. If there's still issues, we need to work with it.
I think we gotta sit down with Cliff and have.
But
a
I will say one thing, the only work that I have seen getting done is work that I pointed out.
And why is that? And that's what we've got, that's a conversation we need to have. And it's not to, it may be to express our, the work requirements to, to help him organize, to prioritize, help him organize, help him.
Yeah.
To help him, you've got experience with it, so how can we?
Well, I could set a work schedule for him, but that's taking the job away from him.
But,
Let's just.
but maybe,
Time we can have him, we'll talk to him.
yeah, and it's with the intention to help him. We're not trying to
Right.
say he's not doing a good job, he's doing the best he
Like I
can.
tell him every time I go down and talk to him. I
Right,
say, I
yeah,
want you to understand, I do not want Joe.
right,
Just trying to
yeah.
point out some things that you need to do that, otherwise it's gonna be worse.
And I wanna be the first one on the bandwagon to have his back when somebody's complaining.
Mhm.
It's not to bitch him out, it's to, okay, we got a problem here, where's the middle road?
How can we stand up for you if you?
Right, yeah,
Stand up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in that process, the lawn mowing, the tree getting cut back is, I think that's what it is, organizational things not getting done, it's. You know,
I mean, really, early mornings, they should be out there cutting the brush back, that way when it warms up, you're doing something different, you
That's the
know?
way we
yeah,
did it.
Yeah.
And then for the last, I'm gonna say I was in there like 10 years that last round. The first 5 years, we cut brush by hand because they were so overgrown.
Yeah.
And then I started, well, actually I started, hired the Eastman to do some bush hogging. And then he kind of getting out of it because of his age, so we hired someone else. And it seemed to me that they were spending more time, you know, for the hourly rate they was charging, looking the equipment over or whatever, so, you know what I mean, we're spending a lot of money. So I started renting equipment myself, and we'd go around 1 week. Go around 1 week and do about half of the time.
Yeah,
Next year, you do the other half. And then keeping up with it, great. And ever since, and I don't mean to, I hate to say this, but ever since I left, which has been 5 years, almost 6 years now, I've not mowed one thing.
exactly, and so my question is, does he know it needs to be done? Why isn't,
Yeah.
when, like you say, every morning goes such and such a time?
Yeah.
What's he doing now that takes up the time to where he couldn't, and help him with that? That's my thought. I don't think he's intentionally not doing it. It's just other stuff is over prioritizing it in his mind.
Yeah.
To where it's not an issue, and
Right.
you know, it's, I understand you getting upset, I understand that, because it's pride in our work and having things to.
well, the
But-
difference is Frank's from town, and Frank did things for the town, not, you know.
Wasn't just a job.
Right, it wasn't just a job, you know, and today it's just a job for people.
Well, a lot of times and it may be. If you hire a truck driver, that's what his job is, to drive a truck.
Yeah.
When he goes into another position, how do you transfer over?
Well, we're gonna be in the same position when we have to replace fire.
Yeah.
I think he's done a lot on his own,
You know,
that he didn't ask for extra pay, and didn't, you know, that the next fire chief is not gonna do that.
well, I don't know, when it comes to fire chiefs, if you're not into that mentality, you don't belong there. But when you start
But
looking.
you look what happened to the fire,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Aussie, to go from Aussie to what they have now, and
yeah.
it's so different.
That's what we're gonna have to,
It's the same thing, everything, notice.
but,
You can't breathe unless you pay for it.
Yeah, yeah, Denmark, same way.
and then when you look at what we're dealing with the whole town thing, and it's scary where we're going. There's so much confusion put into it needlessly.
Right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's the game. You feel better?
No.
No.
Guess you better get out in the woods and start chasing bandits.
Yeah.
Well, I understand the motion, someone will make one.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Yes, done.
Guys.
Thank you, Benny, for attending.
Thank you guys.
Good evening.
Oh,
Thank you for your attention.
Oh, good.
Every time we open that mouth, we're in trouble.
Oh, yeah.